Welcome back to our Mastt tutorial series. I'm Jake, and today we're diving into budget management in Mastt. In this video, you'll learn how to create budgets, organize them into hierarchies, transfer funds between budgets, and manage your overall financial structure. Budgets are the foundation of your financial management in Mastt. So taking the time to set them up correctly will help you track your project finances a whole lot more effectively. To access the actual budget register, first click on where it says budgets in the cost module, then click on where it says budgets again in the drop-down menu, and you'll land on this page. As you can see, this is the budget register. This is where all of your budgets will be managed, and you can go through and add, delete, and edit them as you go. To add in a new budget, you just click on this Add Budget button just up here. And then, as you can see, you'll get this form up that will show you your current budgets. Let me just move out of the way. Cool. So if I go through and I hit plus add budget, it'll come up and ask me to enter in a budget name, what the original budget figure is, and what its status is. Is it draft, approved, or closed? So for this one, why don't I make an authorities budget? And then, I don't know, let's say this is $5,000, for example. Approved is the default status, and it gives full functionality. Draft and closed have limited functionality. So if for some reason something's not being able to be put into the budget or it's not calculating correctly, odds are it's not approved. So once it's been approved, what you can also do is you can tag budgets. So tags are really cool for dashboards. This allows you to go through and filter. So if you remember in our dashboards video, you can add tags for filters for stuff like the big number tile. So you can go through and say, I only want to see budgets that are tagged this way. So I might go through and add in AUTH for authorities. And there we go. So I'll just hit save. And we jump back to the dashboard. I can come to this budget, settings, and I need to select authorities, and that will just show me, as soon as I set it to thousands, the $5,000 budget. If we jump back into the cost module, budgets, let's say I don't like where this is. I want it to sit a little bit higher up. If we go through and we edit the budget, we can click and drag using this to handle here and move it up to where we want it to go. I think just there is great. And once you're done, once you've put everything in the order that you want it to be, don't forget to save so that the order will save. Cool. So there we go. Budget is done. And so this will keep your budget structure organized in a way that makes sense for your project. But let's say I want to further divide these and I want to add in sub-budgets. I'll go to the authorities budget, for example. Click on the three dots, and I'll add and edit sub-budgets. This will then allow me to go through and create sub-budgets underneath this budget. I'll go through, and let's say for this, I'll add in permits, and let's say we make this $2,000. Cool. And you can see that the system's tracking this unallocated budget. This is just showing you how much of the parent budget remains unassigned to a sub-budget. The one thing is that you can actually allocate more than the parent budget amount. Let's say that we added in, I don't know, environmental. And I went ahead and I put in 3,500. You can see that, yes, the budget has been over allocated, but I can still go through and save that. You can now see we've got a negative unallocated amount there, but it's not stopped me from saving that. Now, let's say that we want to go through and fix that. We can either go through, we can edit this budget, or we can go through and do a budget adjustment. So if you click on budgets again and navigate to adjustments, it will then bring us to the budget adjustment page. So let's go through and just do let's transfer some funds. So I transfer funds, you just need to give it a name. So it might be, this is covering a variation, so you might put in the variation number. And then you select the from budget, Let's say I'm transferring from contingency, and you want to select the to budget. Let's transfer it to authorities and the amount that you're transferring, for example. One thing is you can add notes, you can upload attachments, but if it's not approved, it won't actually transfer. So if I go through and I approve and I hit add, that will then go through and create a transfer directly between the budgets. And if we jump to the overall page, we can see that transfer as we go through. And there we go. As you can see, there is no longer an unallocated amount because we've just covered that. But let's say I want to either add or remove funds directly from the project. That's what this option is here. So this might be, you can give it a name. So let's say if we call this scope change. You select which budget it is against. So let's say that it's against the consultant budget. And you can either go through and add in additional funds with a positive number, or you can remove funds with a negative number. And again, you've got notes, attachments, and we can go through, we can approve that. And that's it there. So that's gone through and added. If we jump back to the overall page, you can now see what that change has caused. We've got the original budget, it's shown the adjustment, the negative, and it's given us the current budget. This allows you to show the change over time for your project. And then your adjustments will be your register of all those changes as you go through the project. But let's say that you want to delete an adjustment, like this scope change one, for example, 3 dots, and you can go through and delete. And then if you go through back to the overall page, you can now see that that $100,000, it's gone. It's not impacting your project anymore. So that's always an easy way to reverse these sorts of changes. But let's say that you want to go through and delete a budget, for example. Let's say we want to delete this authorities budget. We don't want it anymore. There we go. If you go to 3 dots, and you try and delete, you can see that this is not possible to delete. The way that you will delete things inside Mastt, specifically for budgets, is it needs to follow a specific order. You need to delete any items linked to a budget, like sub-budgets, adjustments, contracts, forecast variations. You need to either delete them or move them out of the budget before you can delete the budget. So for example, before I can delete that, I need to delete this transfer. I then also need to go through and delete these budgets. As we go through, and now those budgets have been deleted, I can now delete that parent budget. That's basically the process that you will need to follow. So that is just something to bear in mind. If you're unable to delete something, it will tell you that what items you need to delete first before you can go through. So if you go through to this one, it says it's got risks against it. So you need to go through and delete those first. So that's how you can go through and create and manage budgets within Mastt. So with a really well-structured budget hierarchy and the ability to make adjustments and transfers as needed, you can maintain really accurate financial tracking throughout your project. So in the next video, we're going to explore how to create and manage your contracts within Mastt. Thanks so much for watching.